Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Erica. Today I'm talking about Helloleesh. I've talked about her in the past, but I've noticed recently all she puts out are videos on Gabbie Hanna, and I don't personally think that's healthy, but also I think her response to some of the backlash about her always talking about Gabbie Hanna just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So I want to talk about that. If I seem like I'm in a bit of a bad mood, it's because this is the third take of this video, and I am very tired of talking about this and trying to create this video, but hopefully this time will work. My microphone is not working like it should be, so right now I'm not using a microphone. Hopefully you can still hear me, but I don't know what else to do. I digress. So recently Helloleesh put out a video about the situation between Gabbie Hanna and Jessie Smiles. Now, I'm not really gonna go over that situation. Obviously, I think Gabbie's in the wrong. You should never be friends with somebody that essays somebody else, and you shouldn't be like holding somebody's trauma over them, and in my opinion that's what Gabbie did with Jessie. But anyway, this isn't really about that, because I feel like it's hard to make videos about that, because at least I hope that most people are on the same page that Gabbie shouldn't be acting like that, and what happened to Jessie was terrible, and the fact that like it shouldn't even be a debate, in my personal opinion, because no matter what, at the end of the day, essay and other types of violence are terrible, and you should never side with the person that commits those acts, in my personal opinion. But so Helloleesh made this video under the guise of her talking about Jessie and Gabbie, but in my opinion she spent a lot of the time talking about her own issues with Gabbie. Like in it, she was talking about how people are telling Jessie to stop talking about the situation, and that there's no real expiration date on trauma, which yes, I do agree with that, but also I agree that I disagree, because I believe people can still voice their opinion. Do I think it's right that they're doing that? Not really in this case, because it's about something so serious. But anyway, then Leesh kind of like meandered over to the topic of her, and how people tell her to stop talking about the hate mob Gabbie sent after her last year. And she's like, she
addressed a really important point, and I'm so glad that she did. She talked about how several people have told her not to talk about this anymore. I mean, there are plenty of shitty people who are telling Jessie not to talk about this anymore because they think that she's weaponizing her own story, her own trauma, or something like that. Just the bullshit. Just like Jessie points out to Gabbie, that Gabbie thinks that people are just using their emotions to manipulate other people, which is funny because that's one of the things that she complains about other people saying about her when she gets emotional. But she also pointed out that there are people with seemingly good intentions that are telling her to stop talking about this because Gabbie wants attention and you're giving her that attention. And Jessie notes, maybe I am giving Gabbie what she wants, but this is her trauma to talk about. And I think that is the most important part, right? You guys already know that. This is Jessie's trauma to talk about, and she can talk about it till the cows come home. Now, we, as the consumers, can decide whether or not we consume that content. And it could be that Jessie talks about this so much that she loses her entire audience because they get bored of hearing it. That's a possibility. And of course, I'm not talking specifically about Jessie at this point. I'm talking about anybody who wants to talk about anything that's important to them. And yes, if you're wondering, I am thinking about myself too, and the hate mob that Gabbie Hanna sent to me a year ago. And all the people that have told me to stop talking about it, whether it be because they don't like me and they're telling me to stop weaponizing this thing that was very traumatic, or because they do like me and they say the same thing. Gabbie wants attention, you're giving it to her, blah, blah, blah. I was very grateful to open my inbox today and to read an email in which one of my viewers told me, do not stop talking about this. What Gabbie wants is for you to stop talking about this, so continue to do so as much as you need to do so. And holy shit, how much did I appreciate that email to you, the one person who wrote that email who's not me. I love you, dude. Thank you for that email. But I think the sentiment applies to Jessie.
In my opinion, and of course, this is all my opinion, is she strawmans the people that tell her that her talking about Gabbie all the time is not healthy. And if you don't know what strawman means, it's just basically this logical fallacy, which is basically, it's basically a bad form of argumentation where somebody on one side of the argument makes up an argument for the other side that is so ridiculous or so extreme that most people making that argument wouldn't make that argument. But the reason people use it, it's very easy to argue against either an extreme argument or a ridiculous argument, because obviously, like, your argument doesn't have to be much better because you're like, well, that's just silly, that's just bad, that's mean, or whatever it is. But how I perceive Helloleesh to be doing this is that she's saying that people that love and hate her, which, I mean, I believe there's more of a gray area there, but that's besides the point. They're telling her that she's weaponizing her trauma from the hate mob against people. And now I haven't seen anybody say that. That doesn't mean there aren't people saying it, because there very well could be, and probably there are. But I don't think that's the vast majority of the people who are saying it's not healthy for you to talk about Gabbie Hanna constantly, because it's not healthy. And it's not because I'm just like, shut up, stop doing that, because I'm not. It's because it's concerning, and I realize that it's not productive. It's not gonna convince anybody that Gabbie's bad, because ultimately the people that love Gabbie don't see what other people see. But also, I don't think it's good for Helloleesh either, because it's like, YouTube is not your diary. In your diary, you can write down your private thoughts, and it's not going to affect other people. But on YouTube, you're putting it out into the world publicly so other people can see what you're saying and she's becoming to the point where, and I will try to put in clips. This is Helloleesh's channel, Gabbie, another Gabbie video, another Gabbie video, creep show art. Whoa, I guess that's a change of pace. Tati, Jeffrey, David, and Shane. That's also not about Gabbie. The pizza curse, I don't know what that means, but it's Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein. More Gabbie. Gabbie again. And what do you know? Gabbie again. Creep show art. Twitter is on fire. I don't know what that means, but yeah. More Gabbie. Trisha Paytas, Gabbie. Trisha Paytas and Gabbie. Gabbie. Keemstar, Jeffree Star, James Charles, Jeff Hittick and David Dobrik, Gabbie, Jeff Hittick and David Dobrik, David Dobrik again, James Charles and David Dobrik, Bishop Paytas and Gabbie again, more Gabbie, and apparently Gabbie subtweeted Helloleesh, which I don't think anybody else believes happened. Scotty Sire and Gabbie? Career advice? Jeffree Star? Well, as you can see, her channel is basically the Gabbie show with some other things sprinkled in, and yet she wants to be mad at people when they tell her she only talks about Gabbie. But, I mean, I feel like the proof is here.
A little bit for the hurt that she feels inside. If she can see that you're hurting, that you're down, that you are crying, that you are hating life for a moment, then she settled the score a little bit, and it's just defending herself. Again, deplorable. But I think of her because you know, Gabbie, you know that you knew it was not true. Gabbie.
But it's getting to the point where she's talking directly to Gabbie. And it's like, I don't think Gabbie watches her videos. Maybe she does. But it's like, if you want to do that, invest in a diary. And I really don't mean that in a negative or a patronizing way. But really, like, diaries are great. Because you can write whatever the hell you want, and it doesn't matter how you look, and also nobody's gonna tell you you can't do that. And if you have an issue with people saying things to you about something, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it publicly, because people are allowed to say what they want to say. Ultimately. And I just think it's bad that Leesh compared her hate mob to Jesse Smiles' essay and everything Gabbie then went and did after that, and holding it over Jesse's head and whatnot, because I feel like it's kind of like playing the trauma Olympics. Like, you shouldn't compare two very different experiences and say, oh, this is basically the same thing, because it's not. And I don't want this to come across as some hateful video, because hate isn't gonna help anybody or change anything. But I think it's getting to a point, and again, this ties into parasocial relationships are my favorite topic, but I think it's getting to the point where Helloleesh's audience is enabling her by encouraging her to talk about Gabbie and release these 2-hour videos about her. I have a screen recording of some of the videos on her channel, so you can see that I'm not making this up. It's actually real. I'm not making stuff up. But anyway, I think that's the end of this video. It's the third time I've recorded it, so I'm all about done talking about this topic. But if you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you would like to, please consider subscribing to my channel. I make commentary videos, I do disability related things, I just do a bunch of different things. So if you want to see that, please consider hitting that subscribe button, which is somewhere around this screen. I should probably know where it is, but I don't. But and I know I said I was gonna make a video about commentary versus drama channels, and I'm still planning to make that video, but I'm just trying to work out how I'm gonna do like the research and like what I want to say in it. So yeah, hopefully that's coming up soon, but I haven't even started doing it yet. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.